Hi everyone, my name is Tracy Johnson and I am the Director of Media and Storytelling here at the St. Baldrick's Foundation. If you are tuning into this webinar training, then you are interested in learning how to reach out to your own local media to help raise awareness about your upcoming head shaving event or St. Baldrick's fundraiser. So this training is going to guide you through the process of reaching out to your local media, identifying newsworthy stories, and helping to identify the appropriate media contacts to reach out to. For a more detailed timeline, see our local media outreach 101 document in the resource lounge. We're going to start by just briefly going over the types of media there are. So print and online, this can include any online media, local newspapers, magazines, newsletters, city papers. If you're part of a college event, definitely don't forget your college papers as well. There's broadcast, so local stations like CBS, NBC, ABC, and Fox. And also radio, including your local radio stations and college stations. What can media coverage do? So media is a free and effective way to generate interest around your event or a personal story and help raise awareness about the mission of St. Baldrick's and also about the critical need to fund childhood cancer research. So media is just another vehicle to reach a larger audience and help to raise awareness and hopefully drive donations and participation. So reaching out to your local media, we're going to go over a quick checklist of steps to go through and how to prepare for reaching out to your local media. So the first thing you want to do is designate a point of contact for media, and this can be yourself. You may be the organizer, but if you are the organizer and you probably have a lot on your plate, then definitely think about identifying someone else, another volunteer that can help with this specifically. So this person will be someone who is outgoing, a good communicator, a strong writer, and not afraid to pick up the phone and call media. The second thing you want to do is start to create your press materials. So this is a press release or a media alert. And all of these templates can be found in our resource lounge. We make it very easy. We write out most of the content and you just have to plug in your information. So you'll want to think about things that are specific to your event to include. The third item you'll want to do is start to identify media outlets and reporters. So you'll want to gather their contact information from the local news outlets like the news desk, editors, and community reporters. So in looking back, you'll think about, print and online, broadcast and radio. You can go to their websites and look for their contact information, phone number, and emails. If you can't find any contact information on the website, go ahead and give them a call, give them a brief description about your upcoming event, and ask them who the most appropriate person would be to send information to. Then you'll be ready to start sending out your press materials. So once you've gathered the contact information, you can start emailing reporters. One tip, definitely do not attach your press release or media alert. There's a better chance of it getting caught in the spam filter. So what you'll want to do is just copy and paste your copy into the body of the email. You can start with a short little intro if you would like, and then just say, please see additional details below, and copy and paste your press release or media alert. So press releases typically can go out about 1 month before, and media alerts about 1 to 2 weeks before an event. Then you'll be ready to follow up with your media contacts. So anyone who hasn't gotten back to you as it gets closer to the event, you definitely want to follow up either via email or by phone call. So if you haven't heard back and it's still about a week away, I would definitely send another follow-up email. And then a couple days before the event, go ahead and give them a follow-up call and just ask them if they have seen the information. And if they haven't, then verify their email address and go ahead and resend your information. And then after the event, you want to make sure you send a post-event press release. So we have this template in the resource lounge, and you can go ahead and fill it out with the things that happened at your event, how much it raised, how many people shaved their heads, any other special details about the event. You can also include some photos, but you do want to be sure to send this out no later than 48 hours after the event. So if you have a weekend event, ideally it's best to send it by that Monday. 24 hours is even better. So definitely as soon as you can, you want to send that to media recapping your event. The longer it gets, they're going to consider it old news and they may not want to run it. So who do you contact? So as you're starting to put together your media contact list, this is who you should consider adding to that list. The general news desk, metro reporters, city reporters, weekend reporter, philanthropy, nonprofit, event reporters, assignment editor, managing editor, and calendar and events editor. So these are people where the information it would be relevant to. And so just keep that in mind. Any type of reporters that, the information wouldn't be relevant, you won't want to add them to the list. So do not reach out to sports reporter unless you have a professional sports player coming out to your event to either shave or help. Then you can add a sports reporter, but most likely you'd want to leave them off. You'd also want to leave off, a business reporter, publisher, or president. So again, just think about, would this information be relevant? Would it be something they would write about? And if not, then do not add them to the list. A couple things to note here when reaching out to contacts, be sure to check if the story editor is someone who might be interested in your story. This does take a little bit more time and isn't necessary, but if you do have a relationship with the reporter or they've covered your event before, then you definitely want to mention that and invite them back. If you've seen that they've covered local events in the past, or maybe they've covered a story on cancer or childhood cancer, then definitely make mention of that and, let them know that that's the reason why you're sharing this, because you think they'd be interested in covering this event. Anytime you can personalize your email or your call, there's a better chance that they'll be interested. The do's and don'ts of pitching. So things that you do want to do: introduce yourself and ask the reporter if they have time to talk. Be conversational but brief. You want to say the most interesting information first. Let them know who will be attending, what they will see. You can also include details like opportunities to speak with local families that have been affected by childhood cancer, local researchers, or any other maybe celebrities in attendance. So this might sound something like, "Hi, Bill. I'm a volunteer with the St. Baldrick's Foundation, and I'm just calling to tell you about our upcoming event happening this weekend in downtown San Diego, where nearly 200 people are coming out to shave their heads to raise money for childhood cancer. At the event, you'll be able to speak with local kids that have been affected by childhood cancer and meet with a local researcher who's being funded by money raised at events like this. Is this something you'd be interested in covering?" So again, you want to keep it very brief and just highlight some of the specifics of your event that are most interesting. And then if they have questions, they can ask you, or oftentimes they'll ask you to resend the information via email. Things you don't want to do: call the media during peak news times or deadlines. So for TV, peak times are usually 1 to 2 hours before newscasts. For print, those times are typically between 4 and 6. So you just want to be mindful of that. And keep in mind that media are often handling multiple issues. They're on their own deadlines and they're busy. So you just want to be respectful of their time as well. The types of stories to share with the media. So when you're thinking about which stories to highlight in your press release or media alert or your follow-up calls, these are some things to consider. Do you have a large number of shavees, or maybe you have a large number of female shavees? Is your event hitting some type of milestone? Are you about to, reach $1 million raised or something like that? Do you have any notable guests at your event? Or again, kids that have been affected by childhood cancer? So these are all things that you want to think about. Do you have, the fire and police coming out to support your event? These are things that can be highlighted. Every event is different and every event is special and unique. So definitely highlight what makes your event different. So if you need help finding stories because you're not quite sure, then reach out to your volunteers and Shavies and start those conversations. These are some questions to consider. Asking them, is this your first time shaving? And if so, how did you hear about St. Baldrick's? What's inspiring you to volunteer or shave? Are you nervous? If they've been shaving, multiple times and this is their 5th year, their 7th year, what keeps them coming back? So these are questions to start those conversations so you can start to identify those stories. Tips on engaging with media on social. So social media is another way that you can get in touch with media, although I would say email and phone are still the best options, but social media is something else you can add to the mix as well. So a couple tips: follow news stations on Facebook and Twitter and tag them in posts and interact with them by posting to their page. We have a lot of great content on our St. Baldrick's Facebook and Twitter pages, so you can take from there and share it on your own personal page, or if you have an event page set up, you can share information and tag media in those. Before the media arrives at your event, you want to be prepared for media showing up, so make sure that your venue allows media there. So before you even start reaching out to media, just make sure you check with the venue, make sure it's okay. You probably will have some type of check-in table there, so if you can designate someone to be the media check-in person, that'll be helpful. You can print a list of all the media you've invited, and then that way they can be the point person. Just make sure that person knows who then to introduce them to. So who are the people possibly going to be interviewed, and make sure you have a short list. Usually it would be the organizer of the event, again, maybe an honored family or researcher or a unique Shavy story that you've highlighted, but make sure those people know that they may be interviewed by media. And then you can also print copies of the media alerts and press kits as well. So all of that can be found, again, in the resource lounge. And then you want to develop a list of potential people that can be interviewed. Again, whoever you've been, highlighting in your media alert to media, just make sure that they know ahead of time they can be interviewed. Make sure that they review our talking points document in the resource lounge to help better prepare for any interview. And they can also review our media interview and message training deck. And that all those resources will help them be prepared for an interview. So if you need any additional information or have questions as you begin to reach out to media, definitely don't hesitate to reach out to your event coach. And again, you can find all the resources by logging into your account and going to the resource lounge. And again, if you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to me. My phone number and email are on this last slide here, and I would be happy to help. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for your continued support.